Ladies and gentlemen.
The first thing we're going to discuss is Meghan Markle. Not Sussex, you guys. I will never call her Meghan Sussex. I will never call her Meghan Duchess of Sussex. Girl, you are Meghan Markle and you never will be anything besides that. But of course, we spent a considerable amount of our time last month discussing her show. And so now we need to talk about what's happening in the interim while she waits for season 2 to finally be edited and they dub in more questions for her to ask to her guests because, of course, she looked like a fool in the last season where she talked about nothing but herself. And even in that season, we saw them dubbing in questions for her to ask her guests because it was so lame that she was so self-centered and it was so awkward that she never asked them anything. The amount of dubbed in content that was in that whole series was shocking. So I know they're working overtime to see what the reviews were so that they can fix whatever they did when they filmed the 16 episodes and then waited to release the second half and call it a season 2 after they had seen what did we do wrong the first time and how can we make it better later. You can't make it better because the star is still Meghan. Anyway, she is out there hawking all of the goods that we knew were being advertised for 8 long, dreadful episodes. And I have to tell you that I am shocked and appalled at the paltry, limited items that she decided to release on the public. They are some of the worst, most limited products I have ever seen, and the lack of originality is beyond anything I have ever seen. I cannot believe that this is the thing that she decided to release to us. But the thing that's even more disturbing to me is that she sold out in minutes. Now, I know that she's calculating this as a marked success. But the rest of us know that the only reason people purchased it is that it was like purchasing a piece of a horror story, a pop culture horror story. And there are lots of people who wanted to get their hands on some memorabilia from this show. That's why she sold out. Let's talk about what she offered. Because you guys, I cannot overestimate to you my total and utter shock at the calamity that was before my vision when I scrolled, I tried to scroll, there was only one page of the junk that she had to offer. It's unbelievable. Now, of course, we knew when she finally decided to get her act together and release her store and let us know what she had to offer, it would be the usual suspects of flour sprinkles and tea and jam. So, of course, the flour sprinkles, the tea, and the jam were offered. We knew it would be because she put sprinkles on everything. It didn't matter if it was sweet, savory, whatever. She was over there sprinkling the flour sprinkles on everything as though it were salt. And we knew then that we would see the flour sprinkles. But I don't think that I expected that part of her offerings would be some packaged goods, some processed junk. One of the things that she had thrown out there for us was a crepe mix, so that you can make the crepes that she made. Who would want it? Of all the things I don't want, it's a mix for crepes. And the other thing she had offered was a shortbread cookie mix. Because it's so hard to mix up flour, butter, and sugar. Can't manage it. I need a mix from Meghan. Like, why are you selling mixes of anything? That doesn't really go with the farmhouse vibe to me. If we're trying to make things fresh and delicious, your boxed goods are lame. I'm embarrassed for you that you would put this on there. Aren't we trying to move away from processed food, boxed goods? Why is this? And then, of course, we have the limited edition honey with a honeycomb in it. Is it from the estate? Because, of course, the estate honey. She wanted us to all know that she is over there with her bees 24/7. But I can guarantee you this honey ain't from her house. Okay? And the jam/preserves is now called raspberry spread. Gross. Spread's a gross word. And Meghan, I don't think you need to bring the word spread next to your name. Don't do it, friend. I want to really quick make a distinction for you between the different kinds of jams you could have purchased had you gotten there fast enough. There was just the jar of jam. The jar of spread. But there was also a jar of spread, which came in a keepsake container. Because I can't imagine ever purchasing raspberry spread without also wanting to spend the extra money on this cardboard container so that I can display it on my mantle to let everybody know that I got something from the Duchess of Sussex. Where am I going to put this keepsake packaging? Am I going to put it on a kitchen shelf? Am I going to like take it to bed with me? Like, what am I doing with the keepsake packaging? Am I using it as a vase? Like, what did she want us to do with it? For a jar of jam. Jar of spread. And let's talk about the tea. Okay, this is a person who spent like so much. I would say that at least 25% of our time watching that show was us watching her make tea. Us watching her concoct tea with tea bags, without tea bags, hot water and herbs were what the girl was about. So much of our time. So, and she's over there mixing all kinds of stuff from her, apothecary of dried goods. But so you would think that maybe we'd be getting some like more original flavors, something interesting, something like unique to her, something that would just make you want to buy the tea because it's not something you could get at any Walmart. But no, her flavors, the 3 flavors she offered, hibiscus, peppermint, lemon ginger. What the actual? Why would you open your store to sell your goods? And this is what you had to offer. Spread, honey, packaged goods, and 3 kinds of tea that you could purchase anywhere at any time at any location. And flour sprinkles, I'm sorry. I can't understand the mentality that would try to tell the world that I'm a perfectionist. But I would reveal myself constantly to be the very opposite of it. That everything that I put forth was so clunky, so shoddy, so embarrassingly last minute, that I would even try to get people to believe the notion that I was a perfectionist. You aren't. No true perfectionist would slop through the world like this, with these embarrassing offerings. So few items, no originality, and quite frankly, some embarrassing products like packaged shortbread cookie mix. Boring. Just like your show. Now, during the week, we've been going through a book about Martha Stewart. If you haven't been watching it, stop this video and get yourself caught up. This will still be here. Because that book is so interesting and so revealing. And the reason that I picked the Martha Stewart book was because I wanted to read about a person who had truly revolutionized the lifestyle industry in America, who was a true perfectionist, though a complete nightmare and, quite frankly, a mental case behind the scenes. And that person, Martha Stewart, was a true perfectionist who would not put forth anything unless it was exactly correct and exactly perfect. Megan wants you to think that she is that articulate in the details, that all consumed with making it this beautiful, original, unique experience when you interact with whatever she has to give out. I'm sorry, Megan. Hibiscus, lemon ginger, and peppermint? That's where you decided to bring us when you decided to offer us some tea? Are you for real right now? Martha Stewart would have had none of that. Megan is just not good at this. The reason that people are lining up to buy this is, like I said, it's just to get a piece of the horror story that is played out in front of us for years at this point. It's a keepsake situation, all right. She's not wrong about that. There are probably people who are going to buy this and think it's hilarious. But it's not good. It's not good that the reason people want to interact with your stuff is because they're laughing at you, which they are. Nobody is impressed with Megan. And I'll tell you somebody else who isn't impressed with Megan. Her own mom. Let's just have a minute about Doria. You want to talk about somebody who could not muster any enthusiasm for their daughter? It is Doria. She is slogging through it. She can't stand Megan any more than you can. And she's just here because it's a roof over her head. Doria, if you were here for us when we read Revenge, Doria is a person who, in her youth, was constantly switching up, trying to figure out what her next move was. She was so much like Megan. She would start something, not finish it, kind of shoddy. She would start this little business. She'd start that kind of incomplete business. She was just somebody who was constantly trying to make it big, quick. Where's the quick buck? And Doria has realized that, you know, the easiest lifestyle she's going to have is to hitch herself to Megan's star. Megan needs the world to believe that she has a close relationship with at least one member of her family. Now, obviously, she has no relationship with her dad anymore. All her siblings hate her, so she's trying to rope her mom in. She can't deal with the fact that everyone knows that she drives everyone away the way a hissing viper would drive everyone away. Doria has entered the picture, but a less enthusiastic person you could not find. And there was a video going around this week that Megan posted on her Instagram that displayed this lack of enthusiasm to such a marked degree that I could not believe that Megan would agree to put this on her Instagram page, because I just thought, I would never want to expose the reality that my mom could care so little about me in this way. When the success of her lie that she isn't this horrible person impinges on the relationship that she has with her mom, you would want every time her mom's in the picture to be a glowing, wonderful experience. But it never is. Doria always looks so put out, so unable to muster any energy. When we saw Doria in the last episode of season 1 of With Love Megan, Doria couldn't muster a smile. Doria is the most uninterested, unsmiling, unexcited individual you have ever seen in your life. And for the brief times that we see her, you would think that she'd be able to muster something to give her daughter something, because obviously Doria is sitting around for something. She continues to be in their life in various capacities. We've seen her in pictures. We've seen her in clips and videos, but she's never happy to be there. Now, in this particular video that Megan posted, she had made some kind of parfait. That if she's not making some kind of crudité tray, some kind of fruit medley, she is trying to dump a bunch of stuff in a container and call it a day and say that it's a parfait. So we get her like mixing and matching and putting all this stuff in a pretty cup. I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter if it's total junk. If she puts it in a beautiful glass, then she thought about you, and it's about elevating the experience. So she puts, I guess it appeared to be like some kind of banana custard with some kind of whipped cream topping, and then she decided to put some passion fruit on top. Now, if you've decided ever to dig deep into your bank account and buy a passion fruit, it can be a very upsetting experience when you just paid $5 for one piece of fruit. But passion fruit is a very specific texture and taste experience. If you didn't grow up eating them, you might not like them. It's like snot with hard things in it. It's very, very sweet. And obviously, I know that you guys have tasted the flavor of passion fruit because it's in a lot of things. But I don't know how many people enjoy eating passion fruit. If you get one that is not ripe, it's very, very sour. And a lot of people don't eat it when it's actually ripe because they don't know that you're supposed to wait until the fruit looks like it's dying, black and shriveled, and then eat it. It's a little sweeter then. But just the flavor and the consistency is a lot to handle. Well, Megan glopped that on top of her parfait. And then she wants her mom to try it. Doria drags herself around the island to drag her cup forward and eat it. And the whole time, she is not even trying to act like she's excited or that it tastes good. She can't even pretend, for the sake of the video, for the sake of Megan's attempt to get this lifestyle brand off the ground. She cannot even attempt to look like she's having a good time. And there's even someone in the background who's like, it's good even without the passion fruit. Like, it would have been awesome if you hadn't put snot on top of this with scabs and boogers in it. The mom's like digging underneath, clearly trying to get away from the passion fruit. And Megan's like, do you like it? I mean, and the mom's like, yeah, it's good. And I'm sure that it probably isn't the most amazing thing you've ever had because it's banana pudding. It's not like it's this revolutionary experience, but for the sake of your daughter, could you not do more, Doria?
The passion fruit comes up.
It's good without you.
It's really good without. Because once you get to the bottom, you taste all the banana. Is that a look of joy? I was like, and?
I'm muted.
Dun, dun, dun. My mom has nothing
I'll tell
to
you
say.
when I'm done.
Doria is just this crazy person to me who continues to show up, and it just shows to me how desperate Megan is to have somebody in her life to prop up the narrative that she actually is close to family and friends, because Doria is somebody that I would never want anyone to see because she lacks so much luster and lacks any ability to fake like she's happy to be there. Megan has got to be unbelievably desperate if she's ever including Doria in anything. When Doria was in the last episode of that show, like I said, I mean, she drags herself across the lawn. She's just, her speech is just so unexcited. She's eating food. This is good. I mean, she's just out of it all the time. So that's what Megan's been up to. She's been, stirring pots and, making things and pretending to go over the samples for the packaging of her crepes and shortbread cookies. And she keeps putting clips on her Instagram stories about her preparing, getting ready for her next big thing, all excited to watch the website launch, thrilled when everything sells out. And from where she's sitting, she must be having a degree of success. Tons of people watched her show, everybody's talking about her, and everyone's buying her stuff. And if she weren't watching the media coverage about her, if you were sitting in her seat, you think things were going pretty well. What is this groundswell of success I'm finally having? If you were sitting in her spot, things would look pretty good as long as you don't ever get on the internet. But I just don't know how much longer Megan will be successful. At the same time, people like me even are helping her be successful because we won't stop talking about her, but we won't stop talking about her because there's a massive desire to hear more about Megan. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen somebody be so roundly hated, and at the same time, the very thing people don't want, which is Megan's success, all the talking is making her successful. All the purchasing of her stuff is making her successful. All the views on her show are making her successful. So I don't know exactly how much people really mean when they say they hate her, because we're giving her everything she ever wanted. We're buying her things. We're watching her shows. We're talking about her. Now, I don't think she has the ability to stay off the internet. So if what people want is for her to be horribly depressed, well, I suppose that's probably happening. But as far as is there money in her bank account? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we're lining her pockets with all of the purchasing, the watching, and the talking.